everybody, welcome into Brooklyn News' breaking news coverage of an event we have all been watching all day now. We are live with our coverage that is going to be continuing here on Brooklyn News, and we have lost that feed that we were just looking at. We will come back to that if we do get a feed there. But the coverage that we're bringing you right now is over that collapse on the Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland. What we're learning right now, according to my knowledge, 6 people are still being looked for. But if you heard while we were coming on the air, there was radio channels playing, and we're going to continue listening to that to see if we have any more key information coming in. But those channels were basically saying, I know the tactical channel is just ending. We'll listen into that and see if we can get more information on what channel everyone's going to be switching to see if we can listen into that. But from what I have heard is that 6 people are still being looked for. 2 have been found. 1 did not go to the hospital. 1 did go to the hospital. But as you heard police radio as we came on the air, again, changing from that tactical channel, but also something else you heard there was that I was listening to earlier was that they were terminating some search operations and going. I don't exactly know the departments of this and how many departments we have here. I know I've seen photos of hundreds of different departments from across the area there. So it's going to be something we are going to continue watching. But welcome into our breaking news coverage, everyone. Again, I'm Jackson Mitchell. I'm going to check here for just a moment if we can get a live feed. But if we can't, we're going to go to show you guys the moment this terrific event occurred. If everyone will just stand by here with me, I'm going to check see if we have any new information, and I'm using a new microphone for anyone that may have noticed the new sensitivity levels and different things of that nature. We actually do know that there had been a mayday called by that ship, which allowed those people, which allowed crews on that bridge to make sure traffic was not in the way and kind of slow down traffic from getting on the bridge. And we also have seen, and we'll show you this video here in just a moment, but power flickers off and flickers on, I think, 1 or 2 times there. So we do know power went out on that ship as it began to run into the bridge. And we don't have a live shot anymore, which is again kind of sad. And I'm going to see if we can't get another shot because we did have a fantastic shot of that. So if we can get another shot, we will. Also, let me turn my mic down just a little bit. I don't know how loud I am, but I'm seeing if we can find another shot. Give me just a moment here. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so we also have another update here. See what that update is. CNN is reporting Carnival will temporarily move cruise operations to Norfolk. Norfolk. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that, but after bridge collapse. Let me see if we can get some live video in here. And then we have live news updates, just not live video no more. So it appears search operations are going to be seized tonight and end tonight. But what you just heard there is they're going to bring boats up to, I don't remember the exact location, but they're going to go ahead and bring their boats up and get ready for this coverage here. So, and we also have some new developments, guys, some breaking news. Everyone, please stand by here. We do have breaking news that we are going to bring to you really quickly here. Everyone, again, please stand by. If we can go to this page right here, that breaking news coming in right now. Now, according to multiple sources that we are learning, if we can get that pulled up, 6 construction workers are now presumed dead after that Baltimore bridge collapse, is what the employer is reporting. The employer of those maintenance workers that were just working to fill in potholes, now we're learning that they are presumed dead. You're listening into the coverage of police radio there, and you can listen to the coverage ending and transitioning to new channels and the channel ending. Does this mean they are presumed dead? At this point, search operations are obviously going to continue for their bodies. Uh, I mean, uh, uh, you know, wow. That's all I'll say here is wow. This is devastating to hear. Um, our hearts go out to anyone possibly even closely related to the people involved in this incident, and to those having to now search for those firefighters, the braveness that they're taking to search for those individuals in that cold water in the I mean, to even know that these people could possibly be dead, is just heartbreaking. So our hearts go out to those possibly involved. But again, there you see it. This was about 23 minutes ago, and I was hearing reports about it. I'm just now seeing so many different sources now reporting this information. So that is why I wanted to come on here, because even before we came on air, I saw reports about it. I just couldn't tell you guys if it was true or what. I'm trying to get a live camera, but what we're going to do now here is show you guys that video of when the collapse occurred, if we can, from a few news sources. Um, show you guys this here in just a second. Let me get the quality adjusted. Okay. Maybe here, if it paused. Okay, stand by with me here. Okay, take a look now on your screen. Here is that video that we are fixing to play here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So you see there that ship just traveling through. You can see, I don't know if you could tell, but power is going to maybe flicker on here in just a moment. There goes power. It's obviously having some technical difficulties. It flickers on. And then as we continue to watch here, apparently they did declare a mayday, but it runs directly into that. We'll keep watching here. He was traveling at, I think, 8 or 9 knots, which is, I think it's 8 knots. It was traveling at 8 knots, which is about 9 miles an hour. You continue to watch this video here. We've seen some different sped up versions, but this is the video here as you watch it. They run directly into it, that whole entire bridge. And what's interesting is now structural questions are being asked. Take a look at this here. This is the moment that ship, but you can see on that other side of the beam here, that also collapsed, which now is bringing in these structural questions from engineers. Was this even safe to be traveling on in the first place? While I know officials say it, it was up to code. That was something I heard earlier in this morning. If we can go to. So please stand by with me, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear my family members talking in the background. Oh, oh, oh. Apologies there. Did not mean to be showing you guys as I was grabbing that video. Let's see if we can get something live pulled up for you guys. We did have a live shot right as we came on the air. It was black though as we came on the air. I'm sure you guys noticed that. So let me check here really quickly. pause this and turn the sound on. Okay, now we're going to go full screen to this and take a look at President Biden speaking on the matter. And I will come back after with some notes here and some different analysts and maybe some new breaking news that we have. Again, here's the president's speech from earlier today in the White House on the Key Bridge collapse.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I was waiting to talk to the last member of the delegation in the region. Good afternoon. Before I leave for North Carolina, which I'm going to do in a few minutes, I want to speak briefly about the terrible incident and accident that happened in Baltimore this morning. At about 1:30, a container ship struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which I've been over many, many times commuting from the state of Delaware either on a train or by car. I've been in Baltimore Harbor many times. And the bridge collapsed, sending several people and vehicles into the water, into the river, and multiple U.S. Coast Guard units, which are stationed very nearby, thank God, were immediately deployed along with emergency personnel. And the Coast Guard is leading the response to the port, where representatives from the Federal Highway Administration, the FBI, the Department of Transportation, the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as Maryland officials and Baltimore Police and Fire, are all working together to coordinate an emergency response. Officials at the scene estimate 8 people were unaccounted for were unaccounted for. That number might change. 2 have been rescued, 1 without injury, 1 in critical condition. And the search and rescue operation is continuing for all those remaining as we speak. I spoke with Governor Moore this morning, as well as the Mayor of Baltimore, the county executive, both United States senators and the congressman. And my Secretary of Transportation is on the scene. I told them we're going to send all the federal resources they need as we respond to this emergency. And I mean all the federal resources. And we're going to rebuild that port together. Everything so far indicates that this was a terrible act. At this time, we have no other indication, no other reason to believe there's any intentional act here. Personnel on board the ship were able to alert the Maryland Department of Transportation that they had lost control of their vessel, as you all know and reported. As a result, local authorities were able to close the bridge to traffic before the bridge was struck, which undoubtedly saved lives. And our prayers are with everyone involved in this terrible accident and all the families, especially those waiting for the news of their loved one right now. I know every minute in that circumstance feels like a lifetime. You just don't know. It's just terrible. We're incredibly grateful for the brave rescuers who immediately rushed to the scene, and to the people of Baltimore who want to say, we're with you. We're going to stay with you as long as it takes. And like the governor said, you're Maryland tough, you're Baltimore strong, and we're going to get through this together. And I promise we're not leaving. Here's what's happening now. The search and rescue operation is our top priority. Ship traffic in the Port of Baltimore has been suspended until further notice, and we'll need to clear that channel before the ship traffic can resume. The Army Corps of Engineers is on the spot and is going to help lead this effort to clear the channel. The Port of Baltimore is one of the nation's largest shipping hubs, and I've been there a number of times as a senator and as a vice president. It handles a record amount of cargo last year. It's also the top port in America for both imports and exports of automobiles and light trucks. Around 850,000 vehicles go through that port every single year, and we're going to get it up and running again as soon as possible. 15,000 jobs depend on that port, and we're going to do everything we can to protect those jobs and help those workers. The bridge is also critical for travel, not just for Baltimore, but for the Northeast Corridor. Over 30,000 vehicles cross the Francis Scott Key Bridge on a daily basis. It's virtually, it's one of the most important elements for the economy in the Northeast and the quality of life. My transportation secretary is there now. As I told Governor Moore, I've directed my team to move heaven and earth to reopen the port and rebuild the bridge as soon as humanly possible. And we're going to work hand in hand with the support of Maryland to support Maryland whatever they ask for. We're going to work with our partners in Congress to make sure the state gets the support it needs. It's my intention that the federal government will pay for the entire cost of reconstructing that bridge, and I expect the Congress to support my effort. This is going to take some time. The people of Baltimore can count on us, though, to stick with them at every step of the way until the port is reopened and the bridge is rebuilt. You know, we're not leaving until this job gets done. Not leaving until then. So I just want to say God bless everybody who got everyone harmed this morning and their families. And may God bless the first responders, who many of them risking their lives. And the reason I'm not going to take a lot of questions, there's remaining issues that are open that we got to determine what's going to happen in terms of the rescue mission and the like. But
Do you plan to go to Baltimore, sir? And if so, how quickly?
I do, and as quickly as I can. That's what
You said the federal government's also going to pay for the repairs. I'm just curious, this was a ship that appears to be at fault. Is there any reason to believe that the company behind the ship should be held responsible? And then also, you
that
mentioned
could be, but we're not going to wait for that to happen. We're going to pay for it to get the bridge rebuilt and opened.
What did you make of Israel's decision not to attend this meeting this week?
Oh, I don't want to get into
We're
that.
going
I'll have plenty of
Rafah.
time to talk about Rafah.
You mentioned the port. The port. Can I ask about cars? About the port.
Okay, that was President Biden speaking. That was from some video footage from earlier today, as some of this other knowledge is beginning to occur. And if we can go back to this live feed, give me just a moment, guys. Let's go back over here to this live feed. But I wrote some notes down, and let's talk about that here in just a moment. As soon as we get that in. Okay, some new things that I did learn, and some of the things that I already kind of knew. I just wrote it down because I wanted to bring it up to you guys. To you guys' head. The federal government will be paying for the repair of the bridge. You know, a big thing the Biden administration has done is a huge infrastructure. I think they have an infrastructure bill. I think they've done a ton of stuff for the infrastructure of America, and a few other bridges and things of that nature. Now, he said that the governor said Maryland tough, Baltimore strong. That is what the governor had told him and told citizens. That is what he said. Maryland tough, Baltimore strong, which I think is a key quote that we are going to continue. I'll repeat it throughout the broadcast again. Maryland tough, Baltimore strong to get through the situation. Now, 30,000 cars, according to the president there, go through that, go on that bridge daily. So this is 30,000 cars being rerouted, having to find a new route to take to their jobs. Who knows how long this build is going to last? A while. It's going to last a while. I mean, we can just say that at least. Something else mentioned was as quickly as possible is how fast President Biden is going to attempt to make his way down to, down from Washington down to Maryland there. And again, federal government paying for bridges, something we were just talking about. Still seeing if we have any other key information. I don't know if we may be able to play also a presser from a little bit earlier today held with the government. I want to play that second one because that's just going to be the most recent information. So if we can, if I can find that, I will go to that here. I'm going to check to see if we have any new information coming in here. I'm just not getting any major updates right now. Oh, apologies there. Guys, if you'll just give me 1 second here, I was just checking to see if we have any new updates. Let me check if we have any new updates coming in here from anywhere. And you may hear a beep throughout this area. That is a notification sound or new news sound usually. It's usually some new news that is coming into our newsroom here. Give me just a moment to see if we have anything new at any possible cost. Okay, The cargo ship, which is called Dally, reported losing power just before it struck column on the bridge. Something we had reported. It had reported something we had said it did lose power just moments before that. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to attempt to get you guys this second presser. I apologize. Okay, here is the second presser. It's because there was one held early in the morning, but we do have a new one. Give me just a minute. Okay, here is what we can go to. Wait, yes, this is footage from News Nation that we are going to show here on our air. Let me go ahead and quickly put some credit in here because, of course, we want to give credit to every footage that we use because right now we're using Stream Time Live footage. Credit to them for their amazing shot there. Amazing shot of this devastating news that we are continuing to hear, of course. Is my echo on? I think my echo might have been on there. Let me write really quickly here. Actually, hold up. I know you guys can hear me typing. I apologize. Hopefully that doesn't get too annoying to you guys. Okay. We're going to show footage here of News Nation really quickly of the second presser that was held DJ. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Give me just a moment here. Okay, let me do this here. Okay, we are going to take a look now at this presser. Okay, here, stand by. I'm going to get this for you guys. Hold up. All right, there we go. Here's this presser via News Nation.
Many of us are scared right now. And so I want to be very clear about where everything stands. We are still investigating what happened, but we are quickly gathering details. The preliminary investigation points to an accident. We haven't seen any credible evidence of a terrorist attack. Our administration is working closely with leaders from all levels of government and society to respond to this crisis, and not but just by addressing the immediate aftermath, but also by building a state that is more resilient and a state that's more safe. That is our pledge, and that's our commitment, and we're going to keep that commitment. And lastly, to the victims of this tragedy and their loved ones, all of our hearts are broken. We feel your loss. We're thinking of you, and we will always be thinking of you. We pray for the construction workers who are on the Key Bridge, and we pray for everyone who has been touched by this tragedy and their families and all of their loved ones. But Maryland, we will get through this, because that is the Maryland spirit, and that's what Maryland is made of. We are Maryland tough, and we are Baltimore strong. So in the face of heartbreak, we come together. We embrace one another, and we come back stronger.
Guys, as we show this, I'm learning that there is actually a presser happening right now. Please stand by. Oh, apologies there. I'm going to get that presser for you guys. I apologize for being just a second late there. Give me just a moment. I'm going to... Oh, I got to get some footage here. Give me just a moment. Stand by with me, guys. I'm going to get you guys. We're going to go to this shot right here. Again, guys, please stand by with me. I was just... Here's some questions being asked by the press right now. Again, we'll go back here just a moment. Oh. Guys, I'm trying my best.
Navigate
All right, listen in.
bridge structure in the water that may be sharp, that could puncture a suit, that could puncture an airline. All of these are things that we must take our time with.
This last question, by the way.
I'm sorry? At this point, we do not know where they are, but we intend to give it our best effort to help these families find closure.
How might inclement weather tomorrow impact the recovery efforts?
Very clearly it could, but we're going to do everything in our power to help these families find closure.
Thank you,
How
Colonel.
stable
Thank you, Colonel.
has the boat been?
Yes, how do we get their names, title, spelling? Does anybody
Folks, we're going to be establishing a unified command as well as a joint information center, and I know there's a lot of questions, and we're going to be providing that information where we will continue to provide updates. But that is the
Okay,
extent
guys,
of our updates tonight. We thank
you're
you
just
all for
listening
coming.
in there. Let me go ahead and play it from the beginning. I apologize for being like 10 seconds late there. Let me see if we can get that from the beginning here of this presser. A very short presser. Okay. All right, guys, let's go ahead and listen in here.
A brief statement from each of them on current updates. And after that, we'll be able to take a few questions, but we do need to keep it brief because we want to get these folks back to work. With that, I'd like to introduce Rear Admiral Shannon Gilreath.
Hey, good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you to all of the first responders that have come out today to assist in looking for these individuals. We've had tremendous support across the state and county and city and federal enterprise. You've seen for yourself the helicopters flying over, the small boats that are out there, the Coast Guard cutter that's out there, the boats that go back and forth, bringing people out on scene to search for these individuals. So thank you to this entire community for helping in that regard. Second, I want to say thank you to the community for the outpouring of support to those first responders, and in particular the outpouring of support and prayers and support for the families of the 6 individuals. So I would like to announce tonight that based on the length of time that we've gone in this search, the extensive search efforts that we've put into it, the water temperature, that at this point we do not believe that we're going to find any of these individuals still alive. And so this evening at around 7:30, we are going to suspend the active search and rescue efforts. Coast Guard's not going away. None of our partners are going away, but we're just going to transition to a different phase. And so I'm going to turn it over to Colonel Butler, please.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here. To echo the Admiral's comments here, we really appreciate the support from the community. To all the first responders here, we appreciate your patience and allowing us to do the best job possible and get the information as it comes up. At this point, as the Admiral said, we're going away from the search and rescue portion to a recovery operation. The changing conditions out there have made it dangerous for the first responders, the divers in the water. We will still have surface ships out overnight. At 0600 hours tomorrow, we're hoping to put divers in the water and begin a more detailed search to do our very best to recover those 6 missing people.
Thank you. With that, we have time for just a few questions. We know there's a lot of questions that still have to be answered, and we do have time for just a few. So,
Okay, so you were just listening in there to a few Coast Guard officials. They're now declaring those, confirming their incredible and devastating news that those, again, what we had reported at an earlier time that Coast Guard officials had been terminating that search. They say they're going to terminate it I think it was 7:30 or 6:30 maybe. I'm not sure what time they did say there, but terminating that search very soon for those who, for those 6. Wow, it's just hard to intake that news. For those 6 again, people, construction and maintenance workers that were just working to fix some potholes that at this point have not been found. So, wow. Okay. So, again, what you just watched are Coast Guard officials confirming the presumed death of those 6 maintenance workers that were just working to fix potholes on the bridge when it had collapsed after the ship hit it. I'm going to see if we have any new information coming in by anyone, and then we will go to that. Give me just a moment. Ship belonging to cargo ship owner cited for labor violations, according to, what is this, the Washington Post? Actually, no, this is the New York Times. Apologies. We're going to go to that story here in just a moment. And there we have special guest Dexter here in the background, special anchor, who's going to be laying down there, taking a nap, doing a great job at anchoring this breaking news coverage. Okay, let's see if I can't get a live shot back at this, this harbor. Not this harbor, but this collapse. Okay, I'm gonna kind of talk with the guys here. Okay, so what those Coast Guard officials have confirmed. I'm going to change the lower third really quickly here. Oh, apologies. This is okay. Sorry, I'm typing. Let me make sure I'm putting all this information in correct. Six out of the 8 maintenance workers. 2 of them were found. So that's what you're going to notice at the bottom of your screen there. At the very, very bottom, 6 out of the 8 maintenance workers working on the bridge during the collapse now presumed dead. This is breaking news coverage as you take a look there back at the very historical, breaking, devastating, unfortunate. I could use so many more words to explain this collapse of a bridge after a cargo ship by the name of Dolly. Okay, I'm going to read off this story really quickly here as we get into some new information about the cargo ship apparently having some issues regarding its labor issues. So as you take a look there on your screen of that story, I'm going to go ahead and read it off to you guys. I wish I could. Maybe I can do this right here and hold it. Hold up, guys. Hold up, guys. You trying out something new here. Okay. It says ships belonging to cargo ships owner cited for labor violation. This cord moving. It says ships belonging to the same company whose container vessel crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore on Tuesday have been cited in okay, guys, that noise is gonna annoy all of you. I apologize. I'm just gonna have to keep it over here. Okay. It says ships belonging to the same company whose container vessel crashed into the Francis Scott. Oh, hold up. I'm gonna get this correct here. Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore on Tuesday have been cited in recent years for labor violations, which include underpaying ship crews and holding crew members on board for months past their contracts, according to the Australian uh, Maritime Safety Authority. It says in 2021, the authority detained the Western Kalu, another ship formerly owned by the company, the Singapore-based Grace Ocean Private Ltd, after it found the management was in areas paying 13 crew members. I'm sorry, that's going to be eras. Paying 13 crew members and had kept them on board the ship for more than 12 months, while beyond their 9-month contracts. In 2020, an inspection of the same ship in Australia found that 8 sailors had been on board for 11 months. So now, according again here, this is going to be the New York Times reporting that the Austrian Maritime Safety Authority shows that this ship here this company that owns the ship had been in trouble other times for labor issues. So that's interesting to see. I'm going to see if we have any. Let me check here if we have any new information coming in. I'm just looking at my phone here. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to have to step away from the camera, but luckily we have this shot I can show you. I'm going to be right back, and our coverage is going to continue right here on Brooklyn News. Thank you so much for tuning in for the last 43 minutes now. Again, our coverage is going to continue, and we'll return in just a few moments. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're gonna go audio only for just a second. I need to quickly fix something. Apologies. Okay, that's good. Sorry, guys. I received an email. I need to get back with these people and fix something up really quickly. So that is what I'm doing. And we're continuing coverage. Our coverage will continue on Brooklyn News right now, as you are taking a look there at a camera of the bridge collapsed. It happened at about 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, guys, give me just a moment. I didn't want to leave you guys on blank for too long. I mean, we've only been live for, 50 minutes now? So, I just didn't want to leave you guys on blank, on nothing but that music that probably gets annoying for too long. So, I'm trying to fix this really quickly. This quick thing that I need to fix on my email, and then I'll be right back with you guys. Guys, please stand by with me, guys. I'm sorry for leaving on silent for too long here. Sorry. Oh my. This is just something that is late that I need to do really quickly. Okay. Okay, now that that is done, okay, our continuing coverage is going to continue right now. You can see it is 8 p.m. now there in Baltimore. It is continuing to get later and later there. We're going to talk some new updates in just a moment. I'm going to be right back with you guys, though. Welcome back, everybody. We're continuing coverage. Again, is continuing on this Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse after a ship hit. We showed footage at the beginning of our live coverage. If you want to replay that really quickly and come back to us, that is okay. The reason we were coming on the air again is for this Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. What we know right now is Maryland tough, Baltimore strong. A quote the president said in a presser he held earlier today. 30,000 cars go across that bridge daily. Biden says he's going to be there as quickly as possible, and then the federal government is going to be paying for the bridge repair and bridge redo. We also know if you look at the lower third and read at the bottom of your screen, there is 6 out of the 8 maintenance workers that were working on the bridge at the time of the collapse after the Dali, as they're calling it, the ship name right there that you look on your screen that you see, that collapsed on that bridge, that caused the collapse of the bridge, were working to fix potholes at the time. Then, the bridge did call Mayday as it had lost control of its vessel, which allowed some cars to be cleared out of the area and traffic to be lessened across the bridge, but ultimately did not save everybody. Of course, 6 again out of the 8 maintenance members that were working on that bridge now presumably dead. Now, something that Butler said with the Coast Guard, he said, and give me just a moment here to take a look at this footage. He said, we do not know where they are, Butler said, but we intend to give our best effort to help these families find closure. So again, 2 of those members were found. One was transported to the hospital, to my knowledge, and another was, we don't know if he refused service, but he did not go to the hospital. So, something key there. This new AP story, I'm going to see if we have any new information coming in. It says the ship's crew issued a mayday call moments before the crash took down the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which was just what I was just saying is, excuse me there, but they had called mayday moments, and that actually allowed them traffic to be lessened, but moments before the crash occurred. Excuse me there. Still working with this mic. This mic is extremely sensitive, so it's able to catch any background noise, anything. So I'm still working on what the best setting is, what the best thing to do with it is. And I may just end up muting myself all the time. Just like that there. So again, our live coverage is going to continue here. It's going to be Colonel Roland L. Butler Jr. is who we were just referring to. He said, quote, at this point, we do not know where they are, end quote, but we intend to give it our best effort to help these families find closure, unquote. Something key to this all that we are going to continue following right here on Brooklyn News. I'm going to check to see if we have any new updates coming from any other of our sources here. So give me just a moment. I don't want to be silent for too long. This crash, this collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge occurred at about 12:30 in the morning Central Standard Time, 1:30 there in Baltimore. Now, this occurred after this, again, as you see, that ship there crashed into one of the bridge's main support beam. This brings, apologies for that notification there, but it brings key structural questions that are now being asked about how this occurred, because the whole entire bridge collapsed as the ship only hit one of the beams, the support beams that supports the bridge. So that is also something key. I'm going to see if we have any new information coming in from the AP here. Okay, that one person at about 2:47, 3 p.m. was released from the hospital that had gone to the hospital. We were just reporting that the person had gone to the hospital. We're learning now that they have been released from the hospital, according to the Associated Press. The Maryland Governor Wes Moore called this, quote, an excruciating day for several families, unquote, which it really is. Let me go up to some more information. Oh, we have some new information from about, what was that 1 minute ago? Here's a map. Can we get that full screen, I wonder? I don't know if we can. I'm going to show you guys this map by the AP if we possibly can. Take a look on your screen now. You see that map from the AP showing the track that the Dolly cargo ship from where it departs. It departs at Point Breeze, goes down the river, and at 1:30 a.m. is when it struck and that is the Francis Scott Key Bridge there you see on your screen. So, key information, of course, that we are all going to continue following. I mean, such an important event that your heart has to go out. Your heart has to feel bad. Even just covering this event, thinking about what the families are even going through and things of that nature. I mean, think of, have you ever had a lost loved one? It's hard. So this really just, you have to think about that scope of things. That's why we want to be careful when we're covering this, making sure, what if one of their family members was watching any of our news coverages? We want to make sure that we're being as safe as possible with the words that we're using. I feel like I could do ASMR with this mic. You can hear everything. I'm wearing these headphones and I can hear everything that's coming through this mic and everything that's coming through my computer. And since not my noise is coming through the computer, I wonder if there's volume on this camera here. Let me check. Oh, let me check really quickly. See, I can hear myself just moving my mouth even. I'm going to continue reading this story from the AP that we should be able to show you guys that view again here in just a moment. Okay, here we go. Now we're able to show that again. Apologies about that. Quick wait there. Sorry, it's a new hour. I'm watching a bunch of different footage. We were just showing the presser from earlier where Coast Guard members said those 6 out of the 8 maintenance workers that were working on that bridge, according to my knowledge, they were repairing as simple of a thing as potholes. And then that ship collapsed. I'm sorry, the bridge collapsed after that ship actually ran into the support beam there. Something we here in Brooklyn News are going to continue following. Let me move my mic down just a little bit. I want to see if I can loosen this up here just a minute. I'm going to turn the volume just low. If we can, just turn the volume just a little bit low here. I don't know how well you guys can hear me. I don't know how well you guys can hear me. I want to see if you can actually adjust the bass here. I think these might just be for looks. Yeah, they're definitely just for looks. Okay. Let me turn this back up just a little bit. Okay, apologies about that. See if we have any information coming from Twitter or X, I should clarify. Maybe if I can get it to reload. Okay, I'm going to check what new information we have coming in. I don't want to go silent here for too long as I look at some information. I'm just checking my sources, seeing exactly what we have going on here. And I apologize for you're able to hear me every time I'm being close to the mic. See if I touch it, you're able to hear that. So I'm just checking here if we have any key information that I can share to you guys. Okay, a tweet here says from Andrew Elswick, weather. It's weather kind of appears. It says WX at the end of the name here. It says, notice how the keywords, and I wonder if I can pull it up on your screen. Hold up. Okay. There we go. Maybe you should be able to see that. Okay. Yep, there we go. Okay, it is from, it says, notice how the key bridge has no fenders. This is why fenders are so important. The only type of protection in this case was the foundation itself, which was not big enough to alter the course of the ship given the concave of the hull. So I'm not actually sure what bridge fenders are, but I assume it's another kind of support item, is what I'm assuming. Let me continue scrolling here, see if we have any new information coming in from this. That was 13 hours ago, so that was back when this kind of first began. I'm going to reload this. I'm not getting too much recent information on my Twitter page here. Let's see if I can get any new information coming in. Give me just a second here. I need to throw some trash away, but you're going to be able to hear every little rattle here, so. Okay. See, if I was throwing trash away, I'll represent to you kind of this new mic that I'm using. This is, I mean, you can hear everything. I feel like it's a good ASMR mic. Won't be doing any of those streams anytime soon. You won't catch that on Brooklyn News. Someone spreading a little, not spreading, but inferring this a little bit of a conspiracy theory here. Jackson Hinkle on Twitter says, how does a cargo ship magically lose all its power? Something seems off about this. That was 11 hours ago, back when this attack. I keep saying attack. This has been ruled that it's not a terrorist attack. So when I say attack, I am not saying that in any means. I'm just having some. I keep saying attack. It's just a habit for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's something I need to get out of my head. But this is a cargo ship that crashed, that had a wreck, let's say. So, continuing to watch this here. Okay. Okay. Here. It says that I'm just continuing to go through some different things here. Also, some new news in that I was watching a little bit earlier. NBC News, who hired former RNC chairman Ronna McDaniel, will now no longer be employed by NBC News, according to sources. So, after some host on MSNBC kind of went after the former RNC chairman. Okay, I'm going to continue looking for more information as we are on the air, and there's President Biden speaking on this incident earlier. According to sonar, there were vehicles, according to sonar, again found in the water, and you can see that camera zooming in now. On the ship here as it continues to get darker. What is it? 8:10 now. So darkness has arisen. But this was from Walls Alert 15 hours ago. It says Baltimore City fire spokes. I don't know how loud that is when I get close to the mic, guys. Let me check here. Yeah, I'm gonna be blasting you guys' ears off. It says here Baltimore City Fire's spokesperson Kevin Cartwright has confirmed at least 7 vehicles, including at least one tractor-trailer-sized vehicle, have collapsed into the water. Now, I'm not sure what the efforts were and what the new information on that, or what we're hearing on that exactly here. So, as we continue to see if we have more, let me move my cup out of frame here. Let's move it over here. Move that out of frame. I'm just doing this scroll. It's just I'm not getting much more information other than the information that we have already reported to you guys. And Henry Mitchell commenting, hearing you fine. Any news about the cars from the bridge? Exactly, the cars on the bridge, as we were just saying, that's something that we still. I was just reporting there that there had been cars found. That was a report from 15 hours ago, but we don't know any new information. We were watching a press conference earlier, but we didn't really receive any new information there. We did. The new information was that, again, those 6 out of 8 maintenance workers working on that bridge during the collapse had been presumed dead. But again, those cars, there's no new information on that. Now, we know I was hearing police radio, and I wonder if we can go back over to that and see if we can't listen in for just let me see if I can't turn that volume back on, and I'll listen in to see if we have anything. Let me listen. Let's listen into some past calls really quickly to see if we have any new information on that. But I know a lot of fire departments and search and rescue teams have been kind of clocking out for the day, you could say. So I don't know if we have any new information on that. I just know they were going to be ending their search rescue part, and kind of the recovery part was going to begin here. Let's listen into some police radio here. So I wonder if I can. This is, you'll see my tab here pop up from Broadcastify here. Let's listen in here, see if we have any new information coming in.
Engine 5627. Battalion Chief 31 from dispatch. And
let's actually listen from here, from the bottom here.
Battalion.
People down there, large C.
Okay, thank you, sir. 1951.
Let's listen in from here.
So, people down there, large C.
Okay, vehicle down in the water scene.
Car 2, be advised, PIO and car 4 was not there when I left, just now.
Okay, thank you. 1951.
Truck there, 1952.
Attack group, stand by. Battalion Chief 31 from dispatch. Engine 5627.
Okay, that was the latest here. We're going to listen in live now. Give me just a moment. I want to see if we can. Here's what we're going to do here. I'm going to have to stop sharing my screen for just a moment, and then we're going to redo it here. And then we'll go back over. Let me change something really quickly. Let's go to this one here. Okay, let me change something again really quickly here. Let's go to share the whole. And we'll listen in live so then you guys can actually hear it. So again, I was echoing again those 6 out of the 8 maintenance workers that were just fixing potholes on the bridge, now presumed dead, as it has been many, many hours since this bridge collapse. I don't have a calculator in front of me to calculate the hours, but it was about, At 1:30 a.m. is when this happened, so 12:30 a.m. here. It is now 8:15 Eastern Time, 7:15 Central Standard Time. So a long time ago is how long this incident has been going on. I'll just say that almost in just a few hours and just overnight here. It'll be 24 hours, and we'll go back to this video here if we can show it back to you guys. Okay, there we go. We're going to continue looking at this crash here from Stream Time Live. We were looking at it from Reuters earlier. They had a much better colorful shot, but it is nighttime. A lot of these reporters going home to sleep, waking up early in the morning to, join join all of this back and continue the coverage here. Because now, as we were just talking about, the coverage, the search and rescue is over, but now we begin this months and months long of building that bridge back, getting that ship out of the area, doing what they have to do with it. It appears it's going to be there overnight at this point. We just know some people are going to be staying overnight, some search and rescue teams. We know that at 6 a.m., according to, I think, the Coast Guard, one of the Coast Guard members, they said that 6 a.m., 0600, I think is how they work in military time, and what he stated in that press conference that was held a little while ago. He stated that is when they are going to begin doing their letting some divers go down, because we if these people are presumed dead, we obviously still have bodies in this river. We obviously still have cars. That was something we were hearing earlier. Cars. There just hasn't been much more information on the car fact. On that car issue and anything of that nature. That is what, it's information, even though we're in the preliminary area of this whole entire rebuilding, it's just information is still very limited. The only information we're learning is of those people that needed to be rescued, and unfortunately we're not. 6 out of 8 of the maintenance crew members working on that road, again, presumed dead. I'm going to check and see if we have any new information coming in from any of these sources that I'm watching right now. Also, I was reporting something earlier. Apparently, the company that owns the ship, known as Dolly or Daily, I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly, but apparently that this ship brand, or not the ship brand, but the company that owns the ship, has been fined and found guilty of many labor issues. Give me just a moment. I'm going to read some quick information to what we're learning here. Of any new information that could have possibly come in within the last few minutes. According to the New York Times, they say a harbor pilot and an apprentice were on the cargo ship as it navigated out of the port in Baltimore, said Clay Diamond, the executive director of the American Pilots Association. He was by the Maryland Pilots Group that the vessel had a complete blackout a few minutes before the crash, which we do know that there was some type of power issues with that ship. We may be able to show the video here in a moment. Later, we showed the video at the beginning of our live coverage here. We may show it again later, but of that ship actually beginning to collide with the beam, and also the whole entire bridge collapsed from one side to the other, and that has raised structural questions between engineers. The ship didn't hit, every beam, and we learned something earlier, someone saying that there needed to be fenders, but we saw earlier that the whole entire bridge had collapsed, and something to note about that is now structural questions are being raised about that. How did the whole thing collapse when just one beam was hit? So that is interesting to also see. I'm going to see, we have a lot of new updates here. Yeah, something that we heard earlier from Roland L. Butler with the Secretary of the Maryland State Police. He said, quote, "At this point, we do not know where they are, but we intend to give it our best effort to help these families find closure." That is what he said at a news briefing earlier this evening. Let me look at something really quickly. I'm going to check my phone here and see if we have any new updates coming from any other news sources that I possibly could have pulled up over here. Just a moment. Still, just a very sad scene. Our hearts go out to those families and anyone even closely involved in this situation. Those two employees that were saved. I mean, the guilt they must feel. You can't even imagine. What's going through these people's head in a time like this, and the first responders that have come out and attempted and helped out with this insane and breaking news as the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. So we're still going to watch all of this here. I don't know how much longer we are going to stay on, as updates are obviously going to kind of be limited until the morning at 6 a.m. again, or it would actually be 5 a.m. here Central Time. We had to put everything an hour back, but they're gonna have more. They're gonna have divers go in, and I'm sure we're gonna learn a lot more tomorrow. If there's insane developments, probably a little after 3, we will go live. If there's any major developments that we need to bring to you guys, and if there's gonna be continuing developments, I'm sure only 1 or 2 press conferences will be held tomorrow, depending on the findings as the divers go into the water. I'm sure one in the morning will be held, and then one in the afternoon if anything insane happens, if any crazy findings are. But I think what we're going to go ahead and do right now is end our coverage right here on Brooklyn News. Please consider subscribing and liking our videos. Of course, across our whole entire channel, and of course, this live video if you want to see more live breaking news coverage. This has been Brooklyn News' live coverage of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse after a ship named Danny. I don't think I said that right. Hold up. Did I say that right? Let me check. I don't know if I said that right. Anyways, after a ship collapsed, ran into, lost control of its vessel, and ran into the Francis Scott Key Bridge. At this point, 6 out of the 8 maintenance members that were working to fill potholes did fall into the river. I know 6 of them are now presumed dead, but the other 2, one is out of the hospital now, and the other one, we don't know if he refused treatment, but he did never go to the hospital, according to our sources. We will have much more coverage again tomorrow if any new developments come out. Again, you can follow us on all of our social media pages. Brooklyn News, subscribe to us right here on YouTube. Twitter is at Jackson MITCH, because I couldn't fit my whole last name into my username. BN, follow us there. And then Instagram at Jackson Mitchell BN, full name there. So again, follow all of our social media accounts across all platforms. Subscribe here on YouTube, like our video. We are going to be back tomorrow if there are major developments. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Jackson Mitchell with Brooklyn News, and our live coverage is going to end right now. Give me just a second here. Let me pull up our thanks for watching video. Thank you guys for watching again. So much more coverage expected to come tomorrow on our social media accounts. That's where you're going to be able to find the main list of developments. We're going to be watching this all day tomorrow also. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Our coverage is going to continue later if, again, there are any more developments. This is Brooklyn News' live coverage of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse.